For a moment, close your eyes and imagine yourself in an airport. You're standing in the midst of the crowded terminal, looking out at the runway where jets smoothly soar into the infinite sky. It's a scenario filled with limitless possibilities, where adventures begin and aspirations take flight. But we're not just watching today, we're going on a journey to discover the secrets and mysteries of airports and airspace. Consider the hustle and bustle of a bustling terminal, the mixed aromas of coffee and jet fuel, the hum of conversations in several languages, and the flickering electronic display boards with flight information. There's a sense of eagerness, expectation, and, on occasion, farewell or get-together. The terminal is the dividing line between two worlds, the familiar, solid ground and the limitless expanse of the sky. It's a gathering place for travelers from all walks of life, each with their own set of stories, destinations, and dreams. An airport is a symbol of human innovation as well as a hub of human interaction. It's a place where individuals from all walks of life come together for a common goal, to travel from one location to another, to discover new horizons, to reconnect with loved ones, or to do business across continents. But have you ever pondered what lies beyond the hustling terminals and roaring airplane engines? Have you ever thought about the complicated technology that keeps the aviation sector working smoothly? What is an airport? Our video begins with a simple question: what exactly is an airport? Many people think of it as a place where planes land and take off. As we get closer, we realize it's a world in its own right, a dynamic ecosystem that connects people, places, and experiences. A complicated organism, an airport is a harmonious blend of human aspiration and engineering miracles. It's where expectation meets arrival, and painful goodbyes become joyful reunions. It's both a bustling entryway to new experiences and a tranquil haven of waiting. It's a location where the rhythm of arrivals and departures orchestrates the everyday lives of thousands of people. An airport is, at its essence, a place of movement. It's where steel birds take flight, defying gravity and transporting passengers to far-flung destinations. It's a place where luggage flows like a river on conveyor belts and where travelers' footsteps build a mosaic of varied journeys. An airport, on the other hand, is divided into two distinct worlds, landside and airside. Types of airports. There are different types of airports, including commercial airports, which serve scheduled passenger flights, and general aviation airports, which cater to private and smaller aircraft. Military airports are also common and serve the armed forces. Landside versus airside. As we enter the landside, we find ourselves in the airport's bustling heart, the terminal. The public face of aircraft is on the ground. Travelers, families, and friends gather here to embark on their journeys or to welcome their dear ones. It's an emotional place, full of enthusiasm and nostalgia, joy and poignant goodbyes. The terminal is a microcosm of the world, a melting pot of cultures, languages, and stories. It's where individuals from all over the world come together, if only for a brief while, linked by their shared experience of travel. The voyage begins on the ground with a ticket, a passport, and a dream. However, as we progress deeper into the airport's inner workings, we arrive at the airside, a place shrouded in mystery and restricted access. The airside is where aircraft prepare for their flights, pilots do pre-flight inspections, ground staff load luggage and catering supplies, and the aviation magic actually takes off. However, getting to the airside is not as straightforward as walking through a door. It's a closely guarded domain, accessible only to those with the necessary credentials and authorization. This is where the true behind-the-scenes action takes place, the domain of airport personnel, flight crews, and the delicate logistics choreography. Aircraft stand on the apron, exuding an elegant presence, awaiting their turn to join the dance of the heavens. But what is the apron? It's more than just a plain parking lot, it's a stage where the intricate rituals of flying occur. Aircraft are refueled, loaded with passengers and cargo, and prepped for their impending flights. Apron controllers, like orchestra conductors, ensure that every movement is perfectly timed. Airport identifiers. Every airport has its own personality, a hallmark, if you will. These identities are expressed in the form of IATA and ICAO codes. They're like aviation aficionados' secret handshakes, a quick way to identify airports all across the world. The IATA code, which is usually 3 letters long, is the more well-known identifier. For example, JFK refers for New York's John F. Kennedy International Airport, whereas LHR stands for London Heathrow Airport. These codes are printed on luggage tags and flight tickets to assist travelers in navigating the enormous network of airports. The ICAO code, on the other hand, is a 4-letter alphanumeric number that is mostly used for air traffic control and aviation-related paperwork. It provides a consistent method for aviation experts, independent of location or language, to identify airports. KLAX stands for Los Angeles International Airport, whereas EGLL stands for London Heathrow Airport. These codes may appear to be a random collection of letters and numbers, but they are extremely important in the world of aviation. They are the keys that open the sky doors, allowing pilots and air traffic controllers to pinpoint their positions, communicate effectively, and assure safe and organized operations. The apron. Let's take a step onto the apron, the heart of the airside. The apron is where the magic takes place. It is more than just an airplane parking lot, it is a dynamic location where a coordinated flurry of activity takes place. Consider an apron to be a large canvas on which aircraft are the principal players, and each movement is a perfectly organized performance. This is where planes come to life, are prepared for their travels, and are ready to fly. Aircraft parked on the apron have the imposing presence of giants, their wings folded like majestic bird wings resting before flight. Ground employees in high-visibility vests hustle around the aircraft, following a predetermined schedule. Baggage handlers put baggage and cargo into the plane's belly, while catering vehicles deliver meals and beverages to passengers. However, the apron is not a free-for-all zone where pandemonium abounds. It's a carefully controlled environment, much like a well-executed ballet. Apron controllers, the unseen conductors of this intricate ballet of activity, oversee every movement on the apron. Apron controllers guarantee that all aircraft arrive and depart on time, eliminating delays and increasing efficiency. They communicate with pilots, ground staff, and air traffic controllers to coordinate takeoffs, landings, and all other critical apron activities. Consider the apron to be a living organism, with planes serving as its pulsing heartbeats and apron controllers serving as careful guardians to ensure its smooth rhythm. The apron is where the rigorous planning of aircraft operations collides with the hectic reality of airport life, and where the nuances of aviation are on full show. And as you watch planes taxi in and out, cargo being loaded and unloaded, and ground vehicles doing a dance, you're watching the accuracy and dedication required to keep the world of aviation soaring. The taxiway. We emerge from the apron into a network of paved roadways that crisscross the airport like veins in a living body. These are the taxiways, the airside world's arteries. Taxiways are more than just highways, they are lifelines that connect various portions of the airport. They carefully transport aircraft from their parking spots to the runway for takeoff and from the runway to the terminal after landing. Consider them to be unseen threads in a tapestry of flight. Navigating an airport is similar to navigating a city, with taxiways serving as the roadways that connect the city's various areas. Consider a complex tangle of roadways lined with blue and yellow lights that guide aircraft through the darkness of night or the murk of dense fog. These taxiway markings and lights may appear to the uninitiated eye to be an abstract language, but to pilots and air traffic controllers, they constitute a critical means of communication. They give clear and uniform taxiing directions, assuring order and safety on the airfield. Taxiway markings, which are frequently drawn on the pavement, look like coded communications. Centerline markings, holding position markers, and direction indications are examples of these. Centerline lines, like to lane markers on a road, guide the aircraft along the taxiway's center route. When approaching a runway or an intersection with another taxiway or runway, holding position markings indicate where the aircraft must halt. At intersections, direction signs provide help by indicating which way to turn. However, markings alone are insufficient, especially when sight is limited. This is where taxiway lights come in handy. These lights, which are buried in the pavement and along the borders of taxiways, provide a visual path for aircraft, especially at night or when weather conditions obscure visual references. Blue lights line the taxiway centerline, while green lights mark the taxiway to runway boundary. Yellow lights, on the other hand, are used to mark the taxiway's boundaries and assist pilots in keeping a safe distance from the edges, particularly during turns. Consider an aircraft taxiing along one of these illuminated tracks, its path illuminated by a constellation of lights as it follows the invisible cues supplied by the combination of markers and lights. It's a precision and coordination ballet, with every turn and movement calibrated to assure passenger safety and the efficient flow of air traffic. So, the next time you look out a window at an airport and see an airplane smoothly gliding over a taxiway, remember that beneath its wheels lies a carefully built and painstakingly maintained network of roads, the taxiways, that keeps the world of aviation in motion. The runway. Consider this: you're on a plane, seated by the window, looking out at an airport's vast expanse. In the distance, you can see the terminal buildings, taxiways, and apron. However, your attention is pulled to the stretched strip of concrete ahead, the runway. The runway, which is frequently the focal point of any airport, is much more than just a strip of asphalt. It's a place where fantasies of flying become a reality, where physical laws are tested, and where the limits of possibility are pushed. A runway, in its most basic form, is a rectangular space that is methodically built and maintained and is specifically designed to support aircraft takeoff and landing. However, its importance extends far beyond its physical boundaries. At its heart, the runway represents human inventiveness and our yearning to conquer the skies. It's the point at which the aircraft's massive steel bodies turn into elegant birds, defying gravity and ascending into the big unknown. The system of markings and lights that adorn the surface of a runway, however, elevates it above mere asphalt. These pieces are more than just adornment, they represent a language, a universal code that pilots comprehend and obey precisely. Consider staring out the window of a plane as it approaches a runway for landing. The runway threshold markings, striking white lines perpendicular to the runway's centerline, become visible. These markers identify the start of the runway, where the journey of landing or taking off truly begins. The precision of runway markers becomes obvious when the airplane descends closer to the ground. Large numerals painted near the runway's magnetic heading assist pilots in aligning their approach. The centerline stripes, like lane markings on a road, guide the aircraft down the runway's central route. But it's not just the markers that are important. Runway lights are also important, especially during low visibility or nighttime operations. Consider the runway edge lights, which, like a beacon, illuminate the runway's edges, ensuring that pilots maintain proper alignment. These lights, which are typically blue or green in color, form a visual corridor for the aircraft to follow. The precision approach path indicators, PAPI, become visible as the airplane descends further and prepares for landing. These lights give the pilot critical information by signaling whether the aircraft is too high or too low on its approach route. Consider these lights to be the runway's way of communicating with the aircraft in order to ensure a safe descent. Consider being on the runway at night, with complete darkness surrounding you. It's a realm veiled in intrigue, with limited visual cues and a focus on spatial awareness. The runway lights become the guiding stars of the aviation world at this point. Runway edge lights, runway centerline lights, threshold lights, and touchdown zone lights all work together to produce a well-defined path for the aircraft, ensuring that it lands exactly where it should and takes off on the correct path. It's a perfectly planned symphony of illumination. The runway is more than just a location, it is a canvas on which the greatest feats of aviation are performed. It is the point at which the rules of physics, engineering, and human determination intersect. It's where flying fantasies come true, where the unthinkable becomes attainable, and where a 1,000-mile journey begins with a single takeoff. So, the next time you're on an aircraft and staring out at the long runway, realize that beneath its surface is a world of precision, coordination, and guidance, a world where the markers and lights are all for show.